Aang dreams psychedelic dreams about the storm he got into earlier. The weather promised to be good, the sky is clear, but seagulls are flying low. That means there will be a storm. It's telling us natively. Look at the storytelling skills. Don't mind that sometimes the creator mess things up, but in the small things, it's nice. These small things are shining. Prince Zukointon argues with his uncle and refuses to think about the crew's safety, and he was stupid enough to sleep about this in front of the crew itself, and now the crew knows the prince doesn't give a damn about them. Well, what you can do? Sokka gets hired on a fishing boat for food. Interestingly, the fisherman already has grey hair but still lacks the brains to systemize knowledge about fishing and understand that low flying figures means a storm. The specific smell of water means a storm. It doesn't cling in his head because he has a fight with his own wife that he preferred from other in his past. Why you choose this woman so fighting in old? For what you doing this? And you kinda fully idiot. 146% idiot or what? Why are you doing this? For what? The lieutenant is rude to Zuko about his miscalculation and say the uncle was right about the storm. Zuko is rude back, the lieutenant is rude back, and now they almost fight. Only Uncle Aang stops the brawl. It's a tough thing to give someone a slap on the head. You got distracted and they smashed each other's heads. If Uncle Ozay Azulonson had stepped away to the restroom, maybe they would have cut-throat each other. I declare a group minute of silence in honor of heir Azulonson effort. Phones put aside, and we quietly waited in 1 minute. The shaman readily tells Aang that he didn't try to save everyone after all. He's but well, that's also a joke. Why on the earth should anyone save you, old man? Did he sign up for this role? No. Well, Aang has a childhood trauma. He constantly babbles that he's to blame for everything. He blames himself beforehand. Also, the question arises, can you be a cool diplomat if since childhood you're used to blaming yourself constantly? I think no. Cunning uncles and aunts will just twist you like a sucker. In case it's not even a cunning uncle, but some kind of lumberjack offended by life and everyone around because of his own weakness, and your knees give you out already. Write in comments how you deal with such critiques, like Aang's case. Aang tells details about how he got into the iceberg. At first, he carelessly played in his temple. But at 11 years old, he was declared Avatar ahead of time, justified by the fact that it was time to seriously train because war was approaching. This arrangement didn't suit Aang much, since he was 11 and at the time an interest in playing with peers, not boring drills. They in turn didn't want to play with him because he was Avatar, plus they announced that Mangatsu was no longer Aang's mentor and Aang lost a friend. He supposed about it, that he lost a friend. What for what, Aang snipped and ran away from the temple, leaving a note that why he's feeling guilty. That's why he suffers. It wasn't his grandfather that hurt him, but that's because of his guilty of his mentor dies. Sadness. By the way, the mentor was old, so he would have died anyway. Death is part of our life, and we must prepare for this from childhood. And it comes unexpectedly. This is given and should be accepted so that after death it won't be painfully hard, and to prepare in advance not to suffer in the afterlife. Heir Azulonson tells the crew about Zuko's other son's fate to calm tension. He says that Zuko, other sons, once already tried to defend his soldiers at General's meeting, for which he paid the price. Emperor Ozay Azulonson said that only Agnokai can resolve the dispute between the generals, and Zuko Azulonson. But Ozay Azulonson himself stepped up for it too, reminded that this was the dumbest move by Ozay Azulonson. Of course, he thought it would be make Zuko Azulonson a harder fighter, but he was wrong. Actually, if it weren't for heir Azulonson influence, Ozay Azulonson would have been killed long ago. For those who don't get it, Ozay Azulonson wasn't killed earlier by his own, only because of heir Azulonson's influence. Since the war needed to be cleverly finished to keep the earnest lens and not fall into a collapse. Heir Azulonson understands that war has dragged on and something must be done. So for decades he methodically works on a plan to close the military campaign. And the fact that Ozay Azulonson wasn't killed is thanks for heir Azulonson. Not because Ozay some typical scream and everybody feels him and he's villain. No, not a villain life, only because he plays a scapegoat role. In the future, we will see the results of heir Azulonson's actions. Emperor Ozay banished Zuko, and from childhood resistment, Zuko Azulonson changed his character. If before he was an obedient boy, the trauma from his father changed him, and Zuko Azulonson decided to become angry, aggressive, and absolutely undiplomatic scoundrel. As you understand, living in constant resentment and betrayal everywhere is simply impossible. To heal from this, you must at least recognize the problem. But many don't realize and live in this. They live in the resentment like Zuko Azulonson, in fear like ordinary citizen, in self-blame like Aang, in the shame that they are somehow unlike Azula. We will see that in the future, if anything. And that's only the way out of the situation. Realize you are in shit and need to do something about it. Identify the problem and how you want to live differently, and hand out the cut of paper of right specialist. Give it to idiot, get idiot results, and you will still think there are working technologies and such bullshit. But actually you've been fooled and dragged this like a pack-mule. The episodes end, the Avatar saving the old fisherman. Zuko Azulonson in turn saves the lookout during the storm. Not the Avatar and decides not to pursue him. Crew safety will be more important. And ask heir Azulonson for forgiveness for being rude to him. On this pleasant note, when everything is good and generally a happy end, we will end.